Hey everybody, thanks for listening. This is the Hack and Chill podcast. It's not the same old questions because we like to be just as surprised as you are.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
That's the best piece of shit I've ever seen.
I just peed my pants!
I'm the best that's ever been.
Ladies and gentlemen and all trained animals, welcome back to the Hack and Chill podcast. I am Tony Hack Covington, joined as always by the madman Jake Perry, and we have a very special guest today.
Dude, don't call
Walker.
me. Do not call me very special. That's gay.
Oh man, Big Luke Walker, man. What's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, not that there's anything wrong with being gay. Don't get me wrong. I might have dated a post-op transsexual back in the 90s, but you know. Hey, what's going on, guys? I know the rules. There's no plugging. There's no. You guys asked that. It's a good thing. No plugging. Because
no plugging, no pegging. None of that.
And no jelking. There's definitely no none of that fisting. No, it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing because then you get to different kind of conversation than a normal podcast.
Yep.
So I want to start. I had a little bit of an existential thing because you get to you talk about the better questions and all that. And I've had a little existential thing happen in my life over the last day or two, and I want to get a couple other people's opinion on it. So I think the question has to be, who's ready for some bestiality?
Who's ready?
Borderline plug. Borderline.
Nope.
I called. Well, Luke's good because he just completely plugged this podcast in his opening thing. And I called it.
Yeah, I'm plugging your podcast. Is that allowed on your podcast?
No.
Well, you see, the thing about plugging is, and even is we all got something to sell, and everybody's got something to sell. And what you're really saying is, hey, I got this thing, come give me money. And really, what I don't need money. What I need is questions answered. And the first question is, can I have some money?
Yes. I don't need any money. I don't need any money. It's just all the people that I owe.
They need the money.
They need it. But what was that a plug, or was that just putting it over?
I think it's putting it over. There's subtle differences.
I'll allow that one.
Yeah.
It's not too far. Not too far. It's not like he's like, hey, come over here and watch KPEJ TV. What's weird as I brush my beard, you can't see this, but it's fantastic.
Everybody on the show has a fucking beard but me.
Literally. I'm going to keep that trend up. So all you future guests, if we have you booked and you don't have a beard, fuck off. You're not on air anymore.
Yeah. Everybody has a beard and I don't.
Yeah. You're sort of. My 14-year-old son just turned 14. He's 6'5". He got a haircut yesterday, and then when he got his haircut, he got a Aquaman, the man bun type shaved around the bottom thing. He's 6'5". What are you gonna do? And he wants long hair. But then he was wearing the man bun, and he's got like full Wolverine mutton chops. And I'm like, you're just turned 14, you little bastard! Stop it.
But man, Mikey's awesome. I love that kid.
So I'm gonna start calling him Aqua Mikey.
Yeah, my poor 19-year-old, man, that dude wants a beard so fucking bad. And my kids are quarter native, so they have a hell of a time growing any kind of hair. Now, he's got the little, pedo stash that he was trying to hold on to for a while, just because he was proud he had fucking facial hair. He's like, oh. Then his older sister's like, bro, you look like a pedo. Cut that shit off.
They say that kids get their hair patterns from their grandparents. And, my grandfather, he died at 96 years old with a full head of hair. Blonde hair still. I don't think it was gray. He was a German. You know, they're the superior race. But
okay, that's a plug.
All right. Now I made that joke. But I guarantee that nobody's grandfather on the planet killed more Nazis than mine. So he was a Nazi killing motherfucker. That guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to say motherfucker. It's birthing parent, sexual or consensual sex haver. That guy. But his grandfather on his mother's side, he's the kind of guy that can shave his face and then sneeze and a beard's back. So so Mikey's going to do pretty good. Unfortunately, my daughter's got a great beard too.
That's good. We'll have to have her on the show sometime.
Yeah, she's a hit at the Comic-Cons. You know, she goes out to all the conventions.
Yeah.
She dresses in. My daughter is way hipper. When I need ideas, I go to her because she's way hipper than I could ever be. You know, like she's. I always consider myself a gamer because I've always, you know, since I was a kid, you know, my first game system was an Odyssey 2. I've always played video games. You know, yeah, Odyssey 2. Then I got an Atari 26. Then I got the NES. You know, went right up the ranks. And but man, this kid just knows more about games than I'll ever even.
Well, I do got to say something. I'm going to try not to plug anything. I'm just going to say
I will mute you if you do.
No, I'm not. She drew a picture, right? And
it's not for sale, so don't worry about it.
All these adults that are trying to come up with different strategies and marketing ideas, she made a picture, and I was like, we all had a terrible. That's the only thing. That thing right there.
And that took her 10 minutes. That took her 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Fucking blew everybody out of the water. It was like mic drop. I was like, motherfucker.
That's awesome.
So let me ask you guys a question. You know, I'm not going to say if I have a podcast or not, so I'm a little bit experienced to this. I've been podcasting
you
since before podcasting was cool.
Smooth at that.
And but let's go. Top 3 regular Nintendo NES games. Top 3. Hit it.
Top 3?
Regular Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Duck Hunt, Mike Tyson's Punch Outs. And holy shit. I only got to pick 3?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to tell you which of my kids I like the best next?
Yes. Actually,
that's on the agenda now.
No, I can't say, man, because I already did it. I'm already plugging Nintendo.
Well, see, I'm telling you,
that's not really a plug.
There's got to be a huge difference. You can discuss things without saying where it's available. Amazon Prime.
It'll be Duck Hunt, Mike Tyson's Punch Outs, and fuck, man. Oh,
Fuck Man! I didn't play that one. I never played Fuck Man. Is that?
I got
that
it. It's on my retro box.
That wasn't a real game. His uncle just told him it was.
It was my camp counselor.
This game is called Late Night Creepy Uncle.
It'll all be over soon.
Jake, you regular Nintendo? Any thoughts on that?
My top 3 are actually pretty easy. You've got Contra.
Oh yeah, that's in mine.
Bionic Commando.
You
remember
deep.
that one?
You're going deep.
Dude, yeah. And then Metroid.
Metroid, yes. I was going to go 100% Rygar,
good game.
Original Zelda, Contra.
There was a game, Dragon Warrior. Did you ever play that one?
Yeah, it was
Dragon Warrior.
The first thing with RPG elements in it and everything?
Yes. And you could go through, and the whole point was to get the location of the ultimate armor and weapons so that you could go and do it. But the thing was, after you had beat the game, they never fucking changed it. So you could literally start the game, walk over and grab the shit and beat the game in an hour.
Well, that's kind of what always pisses me off about a lot of games is like you can get these God mode armor and weapons, but you don't get them until the end. It was like, well, I kind of want those a little earlier than that. Let me fuck some shit up with this.
Yeah.
You know, let me enjoy this for a while. That's like, you ever try playing Skyrim with all these mods and everything that make you like undefeatable as soon as you start the game. I was like, this is no fun at all. Can you just make
like
we made it
Skyrim? I know I'll get a lot of hate for that. I just don't like that game.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
It's the controls. It's not the game itself. It's the way you have to turn and then walk.
What are you playing on a computer? You're playing on
I'm Xbox Series X now.
Oh,
but
yeah. No, I have it. I have that game also in VR, and I can tell you, VR makes me sick. If I'm for about an hour in VR, I'm going to start throwing up. It's motion sickness. But playing Skyrim in VR was the weirdest thing. And also, I'm 6'8", so I'm standing there. I have to like sit on a stool to be so I can see the characters that are talking to me, or else I'm like I have to look down, and then I can't breathe, and my beard's in my eyes. But I got to tell you, like I'm sitting there. This Skyrim's this whole huge world. And I'll, get into the first little thing, and I'm just standing there looking at shit like, oh my God, there's a thing up there. And look at that thing. It's in 3D. Holy shit. It's like this. And I'm just bewildered by the whole thing to where I'm not even playing the game.
You're just looking around and shit.
Now, the problem with the VR, though, is you kind of have to, like, point and click to walk. I don't like that.
Mm. Damn.
Well, I got the Quest, right? And I'm on there playing a fucking game, man. And I don't even play any games. I'm just standing in the living room. And my kids are like, Dad, what are you doing? And I'm talking to the fucking people that are there because it's like a live camera head level with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, look at these pyramids. They're like, how did we build the pyramids? I was like, they're fucking 8 foot tall. I was like, that's the fucking Tower of Giza. I was like, that's fucking lame. Then I'm in they're like, Dad, what are you looking at? I'm like, I'm in New York. I'm looking at a junkie shoot up.
But it's nice to know you keep up with your uncle.
Yes.
Late night creepy uncle. He's there.
It don't hurt as much that way. Man, games are too easy now. We used to have cheat codes and we'd be like, we're doing something we're not supposed to. Now you play a game, you're like, I got shot in the head. Respawn. I'm like, you can't die? Like, when I died, you started the whole goddamn thing back over from the very beginning.
Yeah. Oh, The Last of Us 2 has a if you're killed, you're dead mode. And
that's awesome.
Sucks.
They're like,
it sucks games, and it's awesome.
They're like, those games weren't hard. I'm like, here's the original Paperboy. Beat level 1, motherfucker.
Fuck, I still can't beat that. I had that on Xbox One.
Beat level 1. Here you go.
Yep.
I've never been a whole week in that
like,
fucking
right.
game.
I don't like. I got to a point where I don't like games that are just I don't like this new slew of games that are hard just to be hard.
Yeah.
You die a bunch. Well, I don't want to die a bunch. I kind of want. My favorite game of all time is Fable 2.
Loved it.
And not just because of the game is fun, but it's because the whole atmosphere of the game. The music's great. It's got like that British cheek to it, and everything, like lanterns and shit. It's just that whole game's just got this feel to it. It's almost romantic, It's like I like to get into that game and just forget about the rest of the world. I'm in it, and like a game where I'm just running around getting killed all the time. That's no fun to me.
No. And Fable 2 had all those fucking goofy sub games inside of it.
Yeah.
And dude, there were times when I'd be playing and I'd start to play a loot or something like that to make money. It's fucking been 2 hours. I'm still playing a fucking loot. What the hell?
You're making swords while people are saying that's a good one. Oh, that's the guys say the same shit for 2 hours. But no, I miss games like that where it's just you can get immersed in the game. That's what I liked about Skyrim is you could just wander around Skyrim and come across this chick. And no, next joke. No, but the only thing I would have loved if they'd redone Fable 2 and actually had sex scenes, because you go around you flirt with all these people. It would be cool to have just a little minor sex scene, because at the same time, like Dragon Age games like that, you had full sex scenes in them.
Yeah.
And if it's not for I want to jerk off to this. It was just kind of more gratifying. It was a payoff to the work you put into it. Like, hey, and you're just sitting there, hey man, some huge ass elf titties. Oh man, I love it.
It's always for the it's people. Everybody says money, but it's not the money. It's
The money is a means to an end.
Mhm.
Just like, okay, look, you are a musician as well.
Yes.
None of us actually started being musicians for the love of music.
Nope.
None of us.
100%. I started playing. My mom had this Gibson acoustic guitar, and she's taught me the chords and everything when I was 9 years old. When I was about 12 or 13, I started noticing that if I played that in front of girls, I saw titties.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen anymore. That those days are over. That girls love a guitar player because
Yeah.
they don't. That's
No.
why
I
I
don't
joked.
know. I don't know. You started playing Purple Rain at the bar the other night. And
Yeah.
I was like, we're about to see a lot. We're about
Yeah,
to see-
well, that Purple Rain's hitting the floor under them panties. I was like, I made a Facebook post. I said, not plug anything. I got a tip. I got a tip of $50.
Yeah, I saw
And-
that.
And I was like, my 3 favorite tips in this order: hunnits, titties, and fitties. And the reason titties beats out fitties is because, one, you don't see them anywhere near as much as the fitties, but it's like, man, if you girls show me your titties over $50, I'm for it. You know, this is why I started playing music. But that was childhood was like that, man. You always found out that tried to find things that I got into wrestling because back in the 90s, wrestling was a different world than it is now. Wrestling back then, hot girls went to wrestling shows because it was the wrestlers. We were all jacked up, muscle bound dudes, oiled up in tights. It was a Chippendale show. Yeah, girls didn't go to a wrestling show to watch wrestling. They went to a wrestling show to watch wrestlers.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh wait, you can get laid doing this? Because music, that scene started drying up in the 90s when grunge came around. Nobody wanted to sleep with grunge musicians. They were grungy,
But man, we need those grunge musicians because now media is back into glam rock. So we need some grunge to fucking smack them in the mouth and get back to normal.
What was worse was those pop post grunge bands like Smash Mouth and
Jesus Christ.
I have a rule in my house. There's no Smash Mouth allowed in my house.
Yeah.
I had to ban the movie Shrek. There's no Smash Mouth allowed in this house. It's I don't have very many rules as a parent. I'm a very liberal parent, but there's no Smash Mouth. Fortunately, my daughter likes shit like Pink Floyd, and my son's big into Imagine Dragons, so we don't have
Nice.
Smash Mouth listeners here.
Yeah, my anti-band is Guns N' Roses. I'm out.
Dude, when I play
So
Sweet Child of Mine, because what I do is I'm big. One of my things when I play music, not a plug. I'm not going to tell you where I play, but you can find that on my Facebook page. But I will start with like an acoustic country version of "You Shook Me All Night Long," and then that ends with the D chord with it. Yeah, you shook me. Yeah, you shook me. And then I start strumming that D. And strumming that D right in front of everybody. And I go to the chord progression of Sweet Child of Mine. And then I loop it, and then I'll hit the distortion, and nobody knows what's going on. And then I'll hit that. People lose their shit when you start with the. And I was watching the Thor trailer that just came out. I'm not in that movie. I'm not in the movie, so it's not a plug.
Yeah, I was wondering because you got Mjolnir and Stormbreaker behind you. Dude,
I've got 8 different. I've got 8 different Mjolnirs in my house. I've actually way more than that because I got all these little metal ones. I'm a Thor junkie. I have been since a kid. But that trailer came on and I'm watching it. Then I hear a little piano in the background doing the Guns N' Roses, doing the Sweet Child of Mine, and I was like, oh shit, it's coming. And then it just blares in, and then they edit it weird, so I'm like, no, don't edit it weird and make the song. But I was like, that hit hard. And so I felt like everybody that comes to my shows, that I'm not going to mention where they're at, that, you know, like when that hits, they all kind of feel that same way. So happy about it. Yeah, I grew up with Thor, man. Is comic book, you know, everybody talks about their comic stuff and, you know, they get deep like, I'm into Batman. Well, you're not into Batman. If you think Batman's an emo fucking dork, Batman's not an emo dork. Batman was, you know, the ultimate brain. But I was a Marvel guy, but I was Thor, Beta Ray Bill, love Beta Ray Bill, the Fantastic Four, and the Hulk were my shit. You know, those were my comics, and you know everybody got into X-Men because of the X-Men cartoons.
Yes,
and I got to tell you, I did too. But everybody fell in love with Wolverine. I was a Gambit guy. Oh, Gambit was shit.
Gambit was so much better.
Gambit was such a pimp too, just flirting with that underage chick all day. Oh, he might sure.
And then he's like, no.
I fell in love with fucking Sabretooth. It was Sabretooth.
You know, I was up for that role.
Yes.
And the same time I tried out, me and Tyler Mane and this guy Tempest tried out for the role of Kane for the WWF at the time. Mm-hmm. And we were at the Chicago Comic Book Convention. We tried out for that. And then we went, and none of us got it because they went with Glenn, which is a better move. Because if I would have been Kane would have lasted for 6 months because I'm not a company conformer. You know, but I'm not saying anything bad about Glenn. Dude, killed it in that. I mean, he took a character that should have been around for a year and made it a career. But then we went.
Now he's doing ribbon cutting ceremonies with me.
Yeah,
poor guy.
But no, he's going to be our governor. You know, he'll be our governor. Yeah, but but then we went over and we were not Marvel at the time. It was Fox was there, and we tried out for the role. Me, Tyler, and Tempest tried out for Sabretooth. He got the role, and you know it was cool. And I ran into him at the Knoxville Comic Book Convention a few years ago when we were there for a different thing, and I was like, you know, I'm still mad at you. And he goes, "Who are you?" I was like,
you son of a bitch.
You suck. But he's talking. He's sitting down over there talking to Terry Funk, and then he goes, "Oh wait a minute, big ass Luke." I was like, "Yep." And he goes, "You're mad at me?" I was like, "Yeah, you got that role." But then I looked at him, and me and him were about the same age, and he looked like a junkie.
Oh,
so I was like. But he got to play Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie movies. I'm not saying that I would got cast in those, but you know he had
the best. I'm not gonna say.
What the fuck did you just say?
I'm just fucking with you, Jake.
Well, no, but the one thing.
Well, we lost Hack.
I think there was one role he got outside that nobody really remembers, but I do. That outside of, you know, like if you remember Tyler Mane, you would think Sabretooth and Michael Myers. But he had a guest appearance on the TV show Psych. Oh, I would have loved to have been on the TV show Psych. That was one of the best TV shows that's ever been made.
I have never seen it.
Oh, it's just it's on streaming on Amazon
I've seen
Prime.
it.
But if you it's like people don't get Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is the voice of Gen X. He's my generation. And Psych is almost like the TV show designed for my, you know, like they have all sorts of references all the time with minuscule shit that you don't remember from the 80s and 90s, like the band Tears for Fears shows up in the show. And this show is so great, but they have this, they throw suckets in there. And anytime somebody throws a sucket in there, and they don't just say like just out of nowhere, they're just like, yeah, suck it. And then it just goes away. They're like, hey, suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. And then they both like harmonize. They're like, suck it. It's shit. It reminds me of the shit me and my friends did back in the day, you know, just stupid shit to make us laugh. Yep, there you go. What up?
No, that's my wife, not my dad.
Yeah. I was like, your dad's got some. No. I love stuff that makes me laugh, because I figure if I make me laugh, I'm probably making other people laugh. But if they don't get it, they don't get it.
Yeah.
But a whole TV show just dedicated to making themselves laugh, which made
Psych was fucking good.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. I think it's the cover art that never got me.
Yeah, they don't watch the movies that just came out. They've done like 3 follow-up movies that weren't any good, but the actual 6 seasons it ran, and I think they're only like 12-episode seasons, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is good. It used to come on USA.
USA, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because like me and Funk Master V, Vinny Vineyard, who you've had on your show before.
Plug Master. They should change his name to Plug Master.
Plug Master. we are very like-minded because we are not like-minded. Like Firefly, I think, is probably the best TV show that's ever been made, and he hates it. He loves the movie like The Hangover. I hate it.
I love The Hangover.
I like shit that pops, man. I think The Hangover is just too. It doesn't. It just didn't. It's like, oh, here's Mike Tyson. Ha 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 ha. That's not funny to me. Just have Mike. Like, I don't like that old school. I hated that movie because it's like it's just there's too many scenes in a comedy that aren't funny. God. Every scene in a comedy has to be funny. Road Trip was terrible with that. There's just scenes. There's just 5-10 minute scenes that aren't funny.
Yeah, I hate when they're doing a comedy and they're trying to make it too heartfelt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's like...
Well, but there's also, like, shit that's supposed to be funny that just isn't. Like, in old school, it's supposed to be funny that Vince Vaughn is sitting there smoking a cigarette, having a conversation, dressed as a clown at a kid's birthday party. That's I see the concept of that as funny, but it wasn't funny.
No, I'll give you that.
It's just too much things like that pulled me out. I'm like, and this is going to make me sound stupid as hell, but one of my favorite comedies I think the best comedy ever is Blazing Saddles. Under that is City Slickers. City Slickers is a movie that there is a joke that makes you laugh your ass off every 2 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. That's what a comedy should be.
Yeah,
every 2 minutes.
That was a good one.
Yeah. The second one,
yeah, the first one, we had a movie theater called Grandview Cinema here. It was $1 movie. And
I love dollar theaters, dude.
They would have a movie for a week, and then it would go away, and they'd bring in another one. Of course, that place has been torn down because that was in my teens. But when City Slickers came out, they held it over for a month because we'd all go see it, and then we'd come back and see it again and again and again. I probably saw that movie 15 times that first month, which was a lot because I grew up poor. Having $1. Yeah. That was just like me trying to go to the damn movies now, and pay $14 fucking dollars.
There was a dollar theater in Naperville, Illinois that we used to go to, and the one movie I did that to was The Crow. I went and saw The Crow every night for about 2 months. I loved that movie.
Great.
Every night we'd go, and to the point where we made it almost like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Groups. By the time they stopped playing it, there was like 40 of us there a night, dressed like the Crow or dressed like that. Halloween is until mañana.
Yes.
The best line out of the whole fucking movie for me was when he shoots the fucking bird.
Mm-hmm.
When he's all, come on, bang, fuck him dead. Best line out of the goddamn movie.
I named my son Draven.
That's unfortunate.
Hey,
you named him after every shitty wrestler.
No, because he's been around before they were around.
Yeah, no, it's like the only wrestler I've ever liked named Draven is Draven Lee, and that's because he's a good guy. He's Jim Burke. Everybody disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's just like when Travis Graves, one of our partners here, his first wrestling gimmick was Travis Draven. I was like, and when I met him, he was Travis Draven. I was like, dude, immediately you're not Travis Draven anymore because that's the worst name I've ever heard. And then everybody started being Draven. I was like, stop it. I even did cheesy promos in my backyard, would like hit my face with pie and make it look like makeup and be like, I'm Draven Ezekiel, come see me.
No, I gotta say, man, Draven Lee, he's a cool dude. But that in that movie, my favorite line is when they're like, "Where's Fun Boy?" And he's like, still probably banging away on Darla. My youth, every fucking 10 minutes, every time we come across a fucking meter, a parking meter, I would immediately jump on it and say that line all the fucking time. Then I did try to do the swallow the 9mm bullet with the shot.
Yeah,
I was successful, but holy shit, it was
that
bad
comes back
after.
Yeah, that comes back out, you know.
Yeah, but you got to think what goes in it first, and then you got fucking kerosene or whatever they fucking rub on it before they box it up. I was a fucking sick mess for a couple of weeks, but I did it.
Well, I heard you guys talking on previous episodes about the horror movies that your top horror movies and everything. And what were the movies that really? What was the first movie that really defined you? The first one that just you were like, fuck, this is the best. What was that first horror movie?
I talked about it. It was Dawn of the Dead. That
Dawn of the Dead
fucked me up, man. It was my first experience with a girl, but because that shit was on the fucking TV, I was like, fuck off me. What do you not see what's going on here?
Are you talking the Dawn of the Dead remake or the Dawn?
No, fuck that piece of shit.
Dude, no, the best thing, the reason that Dawn of the Dead remake will always hold a place in my heart is because they used a Richard Cheese song, Down with the Sickness, in it. Oh, man, that's the best.
Yeah. Well, see, my problem with it, and that's a good thing that you bring up, is these fucking remakes. That was not Dawn of the Dead. If you compare it to the 78, and you look at this one, it's not the same movie. So why in the fuck are you calling it Dawn of the Dead?
Well,
stop calling things certain things so that people will come.
I think that held it back. I think that calling it Dawn of the Dead, like the new Evil Dead movie, wasn't a bad movie. They should have not called it Evil Dead.
I thought it was fucking phenomenal. I loved the fact that they plugged the old movie and all of the same things happened, which if you... without plugging the new thing that I'm doing that's based on an old thing that I did, I do the same thing. I have all of the stuff that was in there is in the new one, but it happens to different people. It happens in a different way.
Yes.
So
I think you got to, if you do a remake, you gotta honor the original film and not just say, I'm making my own movie and put your title on it. And you have to be careful. And if you have people involved from the original that know how to say, "Hey, we're doing the movie, but we're gonna do it justice, man." And I thought Evil Dead did, man. They switched to a chick. Other than that, man, like what they kept in there, I dug it. But I can't, for the life of me, y'all brought up the original horror movie. And you're going to drive me insane because for years and years and years, I beat my head up against the wall. I'm on like Film Buff. I'm on chat rooms and forums. And I'm trying to remember the movie. Because I remember one scene that stuck out. I think it was Society. Because it was the one chick went down on the other chick. Then they stood up and her head was in her crotch. And I was like, this is amazing. But there was one movie, people drank some shit and they were like green Jello. And these little guys in cloaks ran up on it real fast. It was like, blah, 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 eating it. And then they ran off like and I was like, I got to watch everything fucked up ever.
Well,
and I can't remember that movie.
I see. I was the guy that would go to, I was the prototypical guy that would, my favorite thing was to go to the local shitty video store and rent horror movies all the time.
They had the best ones.
But the movie I grew up with, the movie that I saw it in the theaters when I was 6 years old, and I shouldn't have, but I had very liberal parents or a very liberal mom. And when I say that, I don't mean like, she's, politically, but she was very, I was allowed to swear. I was allowed to watch nudity. I was allowed to, and I think I turned out pretty good. But I saw in the theaters when I was 6 years old, the original Poltergeist. And that movie, everybody forgets that movie. They forget it off their top 10 list. That movie was a masterpiece. The animatronics, when that dude starts ripping his face off.
Yes.
Just the skeletons of the pool, the tree eating the kid. Oh, man, that movie was so damn good.
Well, they used real skeletons.
Yeah. Well, one of them was rubber because you see it butt up against another one. And but, I mean, that movie was so good. And it messed my brain up, but what it did is that one scene where the rubber skull, that's what got me later on in life. That I thought about that, and that's what made me always want to do practical effects. Same thing with Evil Dead 2. Me and my daughter used to sit around and watch Evil Dead 2 when she was probably 7, 8 years old. She shouldn't have been watching that movie, but we did. And she would love to find the mistakes in the movie. It was so much more fun than just watching a perfectly, hey, you could see that guy's back. I was like, yeah, that's the director's brother, and But you could see, you could see the people when they're running through the house. You could see the trusses and everything.
Yeah,
but that's to me that's one of the reasons that movie is perfect is because of the flaws.
Yes,
when Evil Dead 2, when it hits him and he's flying through the woods, not that part, but when he hits the water puddle.
Yeah.
And you're watching it, and he's under there for fucking eternity. You're like, that man is drowning because obviously it's not CGI. It's a fucking dude in the water. And when he raises up, I was like, oh my God. Like when he raised up, man, like I started with Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness. And I'd watch it because they would play it on Fox every Sunday. And it was the edited version. But I was like, this is the greatest thing I ever seen, Army of Darkness. And then when I found out it was a third in a series, I was like, what? And I watched the others. And
that's what we talk about. We talk about the Evil Dead remake. But if you remember, Evil Dead 1, not a great movie.
No. I mean, I love the fact that Evil Dead 2 was so great, and it just canceled out to where Evil Dead 1 doesn't even fucking exist.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck that. We didn't do that.
Sorry.
I won't mention.
You hurt me a little when you said that.
I won't mention our movies, what the names of them or anything, but Evil Dead 2 is probably our biggest influence. Evil Dead 2 and Clerks for some reason.
Yeah.
Because our biggest influence in making movies, and if you ever watch any of our movies, which I'm not going to mention, you will see the influence in every movie we make of Evil Dead 2 and Clerks. Just because I think those are perfect movies, and we want to blend. There's nothing that's better than blending comedy and horror, because if you just have straight up horror, like today's horror movies just suck because it's straight up horror.
Yeah.
But if you go, if you go from holy shit, if you got to play with emotions, you got to bring somebody up to bring them down.
Yep, exactly.
You're right. Preaching to the choir, telling Jake this.
Yeah, and then I'm in the future, I'm going to do that with the next movie. No, not mentioning it. The next movie, there's no comedy in it, but there's going to be sexuality that does that, and going from sexuality to, because I watched the movie Bound in the theaters with my wife, and the father was sitting in front of me with his daughter, and then the lesbian scene happened in Bound, and the whole half the people left like, oh fuck, this isn't the movie we thought it was. I was like, I want to do that.
Chase them out.
Yep, I want people to go, oh, but I just want. There's an ultimate movie I've already got in my head, but I'll never be able to make it because it's so gross. But it's one of these movies where I want everybody to have a boner throughout the movie, and then at the end feel ashamed of themselves. Just like, oh God, I need to go take a shower.
Whoa.
But I don't think I'll ever be able to make that movie.
Why?
It's twisted.
We got to do it. Now we have to do it. We have to do it.
So when you guys were always talking about growing up, and Hack, you said that you were the nerd, fat kid with glasses and singular, you had to have side things, you had to do more than just the nerd shit, right? Because I am kind of intrigued by people that are like a singular thing that I can't do just one thing.
No.
You know, you had to have like, did you ride motocross? Did you like to go swimming? Is there other things that you would?
Here's the thing. I was like a really short nerd with glasses. Had no friends. People tried to pick on me, but they're like, "Oh my god, this nerd just fucking broke my nose." I'm like, "Yeah, because no." But no, my thing was like you're talking about like riding dirt bikes and stuff. I did do that. I would ride a dirt bike. I got a collarbone that's like this because it popped out of place then broke. And I set my shoulder on the other side of my chest. And my wrist, like I did do those things, or I'd be outside fishing or shooting stuff like gun-loving, like outdoor shit. I love that. But when I was a kid, man, like, you know, a home life wasn't always great, but to me it was great, like, because grandma was great. Like other things outside, like the actual home, like other places was fun. And during that time, you didn't think it was so like, I didn't think it was so terrible because I would just find something that made me happy and be around people that made me happy. But there was two things. It was like I would, it was horror movies, which I loved, and it drove everybody nuts because I was the only person in my entire family, everybody I tried to talk to, was all like, "I can't believe you like those things. Why do you watch those? There's something wrong with him."
There's so much fun.
And then like, I'm in the church and everybody's dragging me to the altar like, "We got to pray for him who's evil." Which I understand they were just trying to help, but at the same time I was like, anybody who knows me like knows that I am the farthest thing from being evil. I was like, but that don't mean I don't love, just because when I was younger they were like, my dad's like, "This is The Exorcist, I'm gonna let you watch it." And this is the director's cut because he was a tape trader. Because he would come home and he's like, "Here's all these tapes from Japan of Terry Funk and other people stabbing each other. Check this out." Like, or he's like, "Here's a green Jello tape and here's a gore tape. You should listen to this." Like, because he liked all that shit. And I think like he's driving on two wheels. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with my dad? Then I realized he had me at 15. So when he's a 19-year-old kid and he's hammered and he's like, "I don't care that kid's flopping around the back seat." Like he's a teenage kid getting hammered in a giant Buick. Like he's like, "Fuck that guy back there." Like he's a cock blocker. Like
see, I grew up. Oh, go ahead.
And that was the thing, man. I loved horror movies. Like I'm sitting there watching The Exorcist and they're like, everybody's terrified. And I'm like, when I'm watching Demons and he's holding his tongue, I'm like, "Oh, his tongue's flopping in his hand." And everybody's like, "You're not scared?" And I'm like, "Why?" I was like, monsters ain't real. I was like, people are real. People are fucked up. I was like, I've seen horror, real life horror. Trust me, this monster's not going to scare me. But I've always preferred my violence and scary shit to be make-believe movies than the real life shit that I was involved in. Yeah. And then I seen pro wrestling. And I was like, I want to go fight people. And everybody's like, "You want to fight people?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to. I love this shit. Like, I want to go out. I want to be the horror movie. And I want a live crowd to see me be a horror movie." Like, that was the inspiration for that.
Yeah, I grew up with a very, and I'm not going to say it's because my mother was fantastic. So this is going to sound weird, but I was like a child of, I guess the neglect is the right word. Yeah, but that's not. But it's not, because it was just my dad, bastard. So he left when I was 6, and he was still kind of around, but I only saw him like every 6 months. But he lived like 3 miles from me. I just never saw him. Yeah. But my mom, to raise me by herself, and my brother, who's bigger than me, my brother's the Incredible Hulk. She had to work 2 jobs, so my mom was never around. So I was left alone. You know, so I had to fill my time. I had to, when I was, I would say an average day for 13-year-old Luke Walker would be like, all right, get home from basketball practice, transform Optimus Prime a couple times, watch a horror movie, then go over to, my girlfriend's house. She's not home. So the next thing you know, her mom is peeing on my head in the shower. And then, I had a bad habit of sleeping with people's moms. And because I was a giant kid, man, you know, like I looked like Thor when I was 13, 14 years old. You know, I ran, I lifted weights, I played basketball, I had long blonde hair, but you know, I did so many different things. Then I'd Saturday morning wake up, watch USWA wrestling and WWF on TV. I just like to do 100 different things. And then so it always made me weird. Somebody that's really into one thing, it intrigues me, and I never would insult that. I think that's cool. But it was like I had so much time on my hands to do all these things, and all of them ended up being with like somebody's mother peeing on my head in the shower. And when I turned 15, 16, everything was about threesomes and titties. It was threesomes and titties. That's the goal of everything. Like I said, all these guys get into wrestling and it kills me because they're like, I'm chasing my dream of being a pro wrestler. I was like, I'm trying to see some titties. Yep. I'm trying to have a threesome with those two sisters in the front row. I'm trying, you know. And it's
like I did the same thing, man. I couldn't skateboard, right?
Oh,
but all my friends were skateboarders, and my whole fucking weird mentality was from a very young age because I got the VHS camcorder. I was like, okay, you guys are going to skateboard. And I would film it and then find a spot or find something where I could close the door on it because I would make my own transitions. I was like, okay, then I was making their tapes and sending them out to local skate shops and getting them sponsored and all this shit. And they're like, you don't want to skateboard? I was like, no interest in it whatsoever. I was like, but I am going to make your video and get you sponsored, get you a new skateboard since we can't afford none. Like, when we want, like, man, like I wanted to watch cable TV. I'm like, man, Stand By Me's coming on. So me and my brother would walk to the laundromat because the laundromat had cable. We would just sit in there and watch it. Like, I'm like, dude, hold the chair still. And I would change the channel and put it on the right one. And we'd sit there with everybody doing their laundry and shit and yell at people that are trying to change it. While they're like flipping their ashes in the floor and they're going to change it. I'm like, hey, we're watching that, you piece of shit. They're like, the fuck are you kids doing in here? You been washing any clothes? We're like, no, but we'll kick your fucking ass if you change that TV.
See, I wish that when I was, you know, in my teenage years from about, you know, 1988 to 1999 or 1988 to 1998, you know, those years, I wish that video cameras weren't the size of refrigerators because we were doing that Jackass stuff long before Jackass came around. You know, we were playing all the, you know, doing all the pranks on each other, you know, hitting each other in the balls with everything we could possibly think of. It's probably homoerotic, but yeah.
I got videos. I still have a lot of the old home videos as a kid. So people were like, oh, Hack, you've been a horror host for what, 4 years now? I'm like, fuck you. Been doing this since like the early 2000s. I've just been popular for the past 5 years. I was just like, somebody noticed. It took me 20 years and they only noticed me in the past 5.
Well, now what everybody's doing is like everybody's doing these pranks and all this stuff for YouTube and to get their
fake pranks.
Yeah, and all that to get themselves over. There's something so pure about doing that shit just to do it. Like me and my buddy Phil, who was my Funkmaster V before Funkmaster V was Phil. He's a half Mexican kid. We used to get high and go to the zoo, the Brookfield Zoo. That was our favorite. And then what we would do is, you know, you watch the monkeys fuck around with each other. Then you stand around and wait for the hippos to shit. Because if you've never seen a hippo shit, it's the height of comedy, especially when you're stoned. And then if one of us had to go to the bathroom or not, our favorite, we'd do this we do this at Denny's. We would do this they used to have these overpasses like a McDonald's over the highway that had, you know, it was like a little rest area. And we would go and we would, you know, see somebody. If we walked into one of those bathrooms, big bathrooms, somebody was sitting there taking a shit. It was on. It was time. We would go. I would sit on the left. Phil would sit on the right, and then Phil would just start doom, 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 and then I'd be like, under the boardwalk, and we started, you know, harmonizing under the boardwalk with this poor guy's trying to take a shit in the middle. One time, Brookfield Zoo, we're high as shit. I get in there, I sit down, Phil sits down, he starts to doom, doom, doom. When the sun goes down, and then when we get to the crescendo of the song, the guy in the middle, under the boardwalk, we both just pop up and jump out, and we open the stalls, we look at each other, and there's this little tiny black kid, probably, you know, 20 years old, probably around our age, just walks out. smiling. We hung out with that kid for the rest of the day, man. I say kid, I said he was our age, but it's like, that's how you make friends, man. If you can't sit on the side of somebody in the bathroom and sing Under the Boardwalk and have them join in on the chorus, you're not my friend.
And we did that, but we caught crawdads and we went to the bathroom, filled every toilet, every sink, every urinal up with it, and would just be thousands of crawdads filling their bathroom.
That's good times. I always search for. I embrace the weird. I don't like normal people. I like weird people, and because to me, weird. Yeah, that's why I love you, man. And weird
is fucking demented upstairs.
But to me, it's all about finding other weird people. Me and my brother's pretty fucking weird too, but he's one of those that's kind of got an edge to him. Like, he could knock you out at any second, and there's nothing you can do about it. But like, me and him we'd go to like truck stop bathrooms and we would try to find the most inappropriate things to say at the line of urinals. Like, oh man, I haven't peed since I was in the bath earlier. Just. And his favorite thing is he'd walk up and he'd just start peeing, and then it was an orgasm. He just, oh yeah, oh daddy, oh, and it was just, and then everybody would freak out with that one guy, and then that one guy, we'd hang out with the one guy. That was our kind of people. You got to do things to figure out who your people are, and that's like with horror movies. Like you broadcast your horror movie stuff, and then the people that are into that come near you. You put on your wrestling show, and I'm not going to say where or when you can see your wrestling show, but you put on your wrestling show, and the people that watch it, those are your people.
Yes.
That's what the world needs to do more. Broadcast yourself and look for the people that are like you.
Yep. I just sat on a panel, and there's like big time TV, comic, successful business owner, fucking college professors, and I was widely accepted. I'm sitting there in the middle with a fucking leather jacket on. I'm like, what's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Widely accepted, and everybody's like, the 2-minute joke, everybody's laughing. And I was just not being funny. I was just being honest. They were like, so how did you get into TV? I was like, I kicked open the door of the TV station and said, hey, show me how to do this shit. I got an idea. And that's what happened.
Well, see, the people you don't want to put on a Q&A panel is me and Vinny. Maybe you do, because we've been invited to places in Illinois, in Ohio, all over the place, just to come in and do Q&As, because our Q&As are roasts. We roast the shit out of each other, out of Travis, out of the room, and he called a kid he calls this one kid, comes walking by, and he's wearing a hoodie, and he's at a paranormal convention. He comes by and says, hey, you, get up here on stage. And then he talks to him for a minute. He's like, yeah, I wanted to calm him down before he blows up his school. I was like, dude, you cannot say that.
Oh, no.
My favorite thing we ever did at a Q&A was here in Gatlinburg. And we're up on this panel with famous paranormal people. And they're all sitting there answering the questions. Oh, yeah, this is how I got to the paranormal, to help people and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, sorry, guys, I got to go pee. So I get up and I walk around to the back of the stage, and the picture behind the stage is like, 30 feet tall, 30 foot wide, and it's projected from a projector. I stand, so I am now 30 foot tall outline of me, and I act like I'm whipping out my junk. I got the microphone. I'm like, oh, so this whole audience full of people is watching the silhouette of me taking a piss. Just, ooh, man. And I come out and sit down like nothing happened. And just.
and that's a fucking true story. 100%. I walked into one panel, loaded, jam-packed house, gigantic auditorium. I'll walk in. Luke's up there giving the host spiel or whatever. I just walk in to set to watch, and Luke's like, all right, excuse me, everyone. I know we're talking about paranormal stuff, but I got to say, and I ain't going to plug it, but he's like, this is such and such from such and such. Like, just stop the whole fucking thing, put me over to the crowd, was like, talk to that guy later. And I was like,
what you got? my favorite thing at that was, besides the large silhouette of me peeing, was Travis, our guy. He doesn't know who his dad is, and his mom is, his mom was at the convention, and we were doing a Q&A. He's on the stage doing it, and she was at another side Q&A with one of these guys from like Bigfoot Hunters. And she didn't come to his own thing. Oh God, we lit into him so bad.
Man.
Your mom didn't even come to.
Damn.
I don't think she even loves you, man.
On the mic, I was there. I was like, oh my God. And then calling him a virgin. And then later on at the table, everybody walked up and was like, man, you'll get laid one day. He's like, oh yeah, my 5 fucking kids tell me that I have.
Well, I was playing music with his dude last night. And this whole group of a whole bachelorette party showed up, and this kid's a great kid, has a hard time getting laid because he's just a little nervous. And I started, teeing him up. Like he played a song that, like a Justin Bieber song or something that all the girls were flipping out over. And I was like, yeah, how are you a virgin? Stuff like that. And he thought I was insulting him. I'm like, dude, I was setting the ball on the tee for you, man. All these girls are looking at you googly eyed. And then he starts going into, he's like, yeah, I played tuba in high school. I was like, shut the fuck up.
I got to say this. Luke told a bunch of people all the time. They're like, oh man, Tony, Hack. He's like, yeah, he's like, cool guy. He's like, he's got herpes, right? You know how many people have told me, they're like, man, they're like, dude, I didn't know you had herpes. I'm like, I don't have fucking herpes. They're like, no, dude, I know, man. Luke told me about it. I'm like, I don't care what he told you. He's like, no, you don't have to lie, dude. It's cool. Like, so many people believe that I have herpes now.
Well, the thing is my ribs go deep, and I want them to go long, and I play the long game with ribs. But if I'm ribbing on you, that doesn't mean I like you. That doesn't mean I hate you. That means I love you.
Yeah. Luke don't say like, I love you. My wife is leaving. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, I love her too.
Luke says he loves you. She said it back. No, like Luke don't like tell people like, oh, Hack's got herpes, haha. No, they're like talking. He's like, hey, dude, make sure he don't touch you. He's got herpes. And then walks away.
Just to let you know. I wrote, you need to know this. Yeah, he's got herpes. He's got the herpes. If you're wrestling him, he's got an open sword. Don't rub up on it.
Yeah, don't sit your water bottle down over there. I'm just looking out. Motherfucker. But when people tell me, and they finally get the courage to bring it up over my imaginary herpes, they're like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry about it." I'm like, "I don't have herpes." They're like, "No." Luke told me, dude. It's cool. You don't have to lie. I'm like, God damn.
You got to play the long. You got to play the long game with ribs. And,
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. All right, so we've run a little long. We have,
if you know what I mean.
Oh, Hack already got his fucking stopwatch, time clock, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Stopwatch.
And Luke, it has been awesome having you on, man. And the formula.
I know.
You have 60 seconds to plug everything that you want to plug.
All right, tell me when to go.
Tony has the stopwatch. Now, I'm going to tell you.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some bestiality.
I really thought I was going to be able to cut Vinny off. But Vinny came in. I didn't get it. So if you run too long and I get to press mute, you're going to be the first one. You've listened to the show. Nobody's not made that minute.
Okay,
so it's all on you, buddy. It's all on you.
I'll do it. Tell me when to go.
Tony, you call it.
Luke, on my mark. Are you ready?
I'm ready for some bestiality.
Go.
WJCM, The Hike, both starring Tony Hack Covington, are available for pre-order on DVD and Blu-ray May 3rd. You can pre-order them now on Amazon. Amazon Prime also has The Hike for free if you're a member of Amazon Prime. come see my music. Check my music page, Big Luke Music on Facebook. I'm playing 7 nights a week in downtown Gatlinburg, most beautiful settings you'll ever see for a great time. And I'm not wrestling anymore because wrestling is weird to me now because I'm old. And also, but I do want you to go see Total Psychopathic Wrestling because it is a 3-ring circus. It's a burlesque show with everything you'd want to see. I want you guys to go see Total Psychopathic Wrestling. Also on Roku, Hack's Horror Show on Roku. Gotta see it. He's going to be on Rumble soon, and he's on Asai TV where you can catch Wrestling with Ghosts.
Damn.
How much time I got left? See, I come in early.
Oh, you barely came in early. Shit.
Yes. You man.
Right as he cued me, you were done. I was like, fuck.
Yes. You were done, man, and you still had 8 seconds.
Oh man,
8 seconds. Damn.
Yep.
Then he came in with 3.
Yes.
Well, Vinny's got a couple more things to plug. He'd plug our YouTube channel. He'd plug all that stuff. But if you guys, if you like me, if you don't like me, the biggest fans are haters.
Look, plug me.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Use your fucking time to sell my shit.
Well, it's because we're interlocked, man. The things we do, you do. Your success is our success. Our success is your success. And then when Jake finally moves out here to Tennessee, we're going to enjoy that symbiosis of success.
Yes, in June. And before we sign off, I want to mention the fact that earlier in the show, Luke had mentioned he is 6'8". Now, I want to specify, this is not like Tony saying he's 5'7". This is a real, actual measurement.
or Vinny saying he's 6 foot tall, and from Baltimore.
Oh, Luke is that fucking height, man. And man, too, because Luke has punched me right in the forehead. And everybody's like, oh, man, you did a great job acting like that knocked you loopy. And I was like, acting like what? Like, as soon as I grabbed the ground, I was like, what's my name? What planet am I on? What day is it?
It's 102 degrees out. I'm wearing a thermal hood and a mask. I can't see your head to throw you a good punch.
It was, and from what I understand, it was Tony's idea. So,
oh god, but it was so over. I had so much fun with that match, and I've been looking around. I watch Tony on Roku, and I can't find that match anywhere.
Watch the episode Hack versus Horror.
Oh, is it in that one? Okay.
Yeah, it's on that one.
That's the one I started watching the other day, and then I had to take a shit for some reason. You bring out the best in me.
Yes.
Dude, Johnny Depp called Johnny Depp called shit a grumpy. He goes, yes. and then with that weird accent, that weird pretentious. The dude's from Kentucky, and he's like, she left a grumpy on my pillow. I was like, a grumpy. I want to call shit a grumpy from now on.
That's all I was interested in. I was like, I got a picture of it. I was like, did they just say she shit on his bed? I was like, I want to see that. And everybody's like, it's a turd. I'm like, it's not so much a turd as it is like a plot. And I was like, where are my shit memes at? Where's her, like, just fucking dropping a deuce or her, like, squatting? Yeah. Like, I want those memes. Like, everybody else is focused on the rest of the trial, and I stopped right there. I was like, that's all I care about.
You got to see the grumpy. You got to have some grumpy memes.
Yeah. I was like, I need those grumpy.
All right, guys. Well, again, Luke, thanks for joining us, man. It's been great having you on. And I can't wait to get out there so we can all work on stuff. And we love how modest and mellow and humble you are.
Yes.
Well, when you got a big penis.
Leave that shit alone, man. But
Luke, you're the
guys,
fucking man.
Yeah, it's been a blast, man, and I can't wait. We're only 8 weeks out from moving, so it's going to be real damn interesting out there.
Yeah. So I can't wait. Kirby moved here too. One of our actresses, the one that gets naked in the first movie. She's out here. I see her every day, and when you get out here, It's just the creative shit's just gonna start popping.
It's gonna be great, man.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining us for this episode, and shoot, we'll see you next Thursday, right?
Yes.
Thursday.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Yeah, it's been a great Thursday.
Great Thursday night.
Fuck.